seed captured his fourth career title when he won last year's PBA Oklahoma Open. Please welcome the 2014 PBA Rookie of the Year from Yakima, Washington, Marshall Kent.
昨年の PBA オクラホマオープンで4勝を挙げ、2014年 PBA ルーキーオブザイヤーを獲得、ワシントン州ヤキマ出身マーシャル・ケント。
The number 4 seed captured the 2016 USBC Masters to become the youngest player in PBA history to win a major title. Looking for PBA title number 4 from Austin, Texas, Anthony Simonsen.
2016 USBC マスターズ優勝、PBA 最初の史上最年少でメジャータイトルを獲得です。DHC カップ PBA ジャパンインビテーショナルの失礼いたしました。自身4つ目の PBA タイトルを狙います。テキサス出身、オースティン出身、アンソニー・シモンセン選手です。
Our number 3 seed is making his third consecutive DHC PBA Japan Cup Finals in the Stepladder, looking for his first career PBA Tour title from Fukuoka Prefecture, Shota Kawazoe.
DHC カップ PBA ジャパンインビテーショナルのステップラダーに3年連続進出、初の PBA ツアータイトルを狙います。福岡県出身、川添翔太。
Our number 2 seed is a young two-hander who has 2 career PBA Tour titles, looking for his first international win from Taylorsville, North Carolina, Kyle Troup.
この若き大手選手は PBA タイトルを2つ保有、初の国際大会での優勝が欲しいノースカロライナ州テイラーズビル出身カイル・トランプ。
Our number 1 seed captured last year's World Bowling Tour Brunswick Euro Challenge for his 5th career title. He only needs to win 1 game today to take home the DHC PBA Japan Invitational title from Colchester, England. The Dominator, Dom Barrett.
昨年の WPT ブランズウィックユーロチャレンジを優勝、タイトル数を5に伸ばしました。今年はあと1ゲーム勝てば DHC PBA ジャパンインビテーショナルタイトルに手が届きます。イギリスコルチェスター出身ドム・バレット。
Ladies and gentlemen, I invite you all to stand while we honor our countries in the playing of the U.S. and Japan national anthems.
それではただいまより国歌斉唱いたします。皆様ご起立の方よろしくお願いします。アメリカ国歌斉唱。ありがとうございます。続きまして日本国歌斉唱。
are live from Tokyo Port Bowl in Tokyo, Japan. 2018 Japan DHC Invitational. I'm Phil Brylow, with me Curtis Von Kruger, and a long day of competition, 16 match play games now wrapping up with our Stepladder finals. Curtis, 4 players that have really broken out, young players over the last 3 years, really starting off the Stepladder, and then you've got the experienced veteran with the world champion on top right now with Dom Barrett waiting in the wings for that championship match.
Well, we're really shaping up for a great match right now. Marshall Kent's going to lead us off here. Dom Barrett looking to capitalize on his experience in this house. He's led this tournament before, and he wants to take it home, but of course, local favorite Shota is going to look to take the title home to Japan.
Well, he's had 2 previous attempts the last 2 years, finishing in the top 5 in 2016, 2017. He was the top seed getting into the championship match. E.J. Tackett took that title home back to America with him. And you can see here the fans that have crowded in the Tokyo Port Bowl. You're going to see them lining the sides of the lanes. They really want their countrymen to win at home. Bowlers are just finishing their last couple of practice balls in that opening match with Marshall Kent and Anthony Simonsen starting shortly. And both really good years in 2017 for Marshall Kent and Anthony Simonsen. Marshall Kent took home 2 titles. Anthony Simonsen took home a title from Wilmington, North Carolina, kicking off our Xtra Frame Storm Cup Tour in 2017.
Anthony Simonson's going to look to really start hot here. Had struggled a little bit in match play, was unable to really get a lot of victories, but he grinded it out, made it here. Fresh start, no more pinfall. It just comes down to these matches now. Marshall Kent bowled great this last round of match play, hoping to carry that momentum. Bowled an exceptional game his last game to beat out Sean Rash, who came out with a fury, just missing the cut. Let's see how this shakes out.
Simonsen led qualifying after our first 12 games yesterday, and he led the tournament in overall pinfall as well, average-wise. Slices to the nose, 3-6.
Well, that's definitely not the way he wants to start. Coming in high, ball reading a little too early for him. Shaking off the nerves. That first shot's always the hardest one.
Once again, Dragon 45, the pattern out on the lanes. First time these players have seen it in PBA Tour competition in 2018. And they are seeing it on a very tough surface here at Tokyo Port Bowl.
Well, the surface area definitely gives the Dragons some more teeth in this tournament. The worn wood surface creating a lot of friction in the front part of the lane, whereas the long 45-foot pattern creates some interesting problems for break points. Speed is going to be essential here. You see a lot of the high rev rate guys are going to probably play a lot straight up. Looks like Marshall Kent's going to take that strategy playing outside.
And that's the more pristine part of the lane surface here at Tokyo Port Bowl. If you look at the front part of the lane, you see how burned up from friction from all the bowling play that happens here, from about 8th board on the right side to about 12th board on the left side. And we were witnesses here to how much open play, recreational play they have here at Tokyo Port Bowl while we've been here the last few days.
Absolutely. As soon as the opportunity arose, this place is packed with open play. It does create an interesting challenge for these players as they look to take home the title.
It rolled early on Kent, still held on the back end. And a strike in the second, early double for Kent.
As you can see, the ball starts to jump just a little, but it holds and clears the deck. Pumping his fist, he knows that it's a good way to start right now with a double.
One thing we've seen all weekend long here at Tokyo Port Bowl, when the transition happens, you have to be on top of it.
The players are going to need to be decisive with their moves. They're going to have to believe what they're seeing with their eyes. And sometimes it's going to be a bold decision that might determine this match as these lanes start to break down. The extra pressure of the stepladder format. Guys are going to look to get into a groove to try to climb their way to the top for a victory.
And Simonsen battled all week long. Put together the highest 6-game block of qualifying the second round yesterday at plus 189 for 6 games.
Ooh.
Gets the 9 to go late, and that laser beam stare by Simonsen helps take that pin down.
Look at this angle coming in real steep, and he's able to just kick it off the wall and take out that 9 pin.
One thing for Simonsen, he was kicked around in match play this week. 4-12, his match play record.
Had a lot of guys bowl some good games against him. He grinded out through the games that he could, and kept it as clean as he could to earn his spot in the final. Not letting that match play record get to him, because right now all that doesn't matter. The only thing that matters right now is the shots in front of him.
Marshall Kent early 10-pin lead.
His reaction looking very clean right now.
Ooh. A similar shot to what we saw for Simonsen's on that lane last time Simonsen was up.
Well, I wonder if Simonsen's going to make an adjustment on that lane after seeing a shot like that, and seeing what he saw with his reaction. We'll look to see what he does on that left lane after this shot coming up right now.
And you have to feel pretty good about taking the 4-9 out like that, and it was a strike similar to that in the 11th frame of position round that got Marshall Kent past Ryan Simonelli and held off the hard-charging Sean Rash. Rash was in 9th going into position round and held off Rash by 10 pins. 4th frame, Simonsen. 3-bagger with the 4 goes down.
Looks like he's settling into a shot. We'll see what he does on this left lane. That one is able to carry out a little high, trips out that 4-pin.
Simonsen, recent success on the Asian continent back in December. Domino's Storm Cup event there, took the title a little earlier this month. The 30th Irish Open. Simonsen beat out 215 players in that event to take home a championship.
He is no stranger to international competition, hoping to use that experience to an advantage. Ooh, a little bit of a weak 10 there. Looks like he did make an adjustment. Just a hair. Gets it to the pocket cleanly. But you can see that 3-pin just wrapping around the 10 as it still stands.
Yeah, it just doesn't catch enough of the pocket, and when the ball hits the 3 that firm, takes it straight back. It's hard for the 6 to do the job, but now he has to do the job with the spare ball. And he's been all over spares this week.
Well, that has been the key this week. It's keeping clean, as the scoring pace could be very much up and down. It was important for players to convert their spares. The lane conditions making certain things difficult, but Simonsen picks up his 10-pin with no problem.
Yeah, definitely not millennium bowlers here with these two young men. They know how to pick up their spares when they need it.
Marshall Kent looking for a 5-bagger. Oh, 7-10 comes in light, unable to kick out the 7, wobbling there.
Oh, you saw what happened. I watched the replay. Watch the headpin run interference on the 5, Curtis.
Oh man, keeps it standing and doesn't allow it to clear out the 7-pin. That is not what he wanted to see right now.
Tried giving it the bounce, and right now control of the match. Moves over to Anthony Simonsen. Simonsen with the max on the board of 269, and that will take the max for Marshall Kent to 266. 3 pins at the advantage.
Well, it's really important for Marshall to shake off that break and come back with a solid strike. See if he still has a little bit of a problem with the reaction, if he's able to get to that pocket a little more aggressively.
It was hard to see that ball track, but rolled up high, left the 6-pin.
Looks like he might have pointed it just a touch. Yep, not as little bit of left to right as he wanted. Pointed it a little bit, and as you can see, it goes to the nose. Kicks out the 10, leaving the 6.
We've seen that a lot with the players this week where the ball's out of their hand, and until the ball gets to about 55 feet, they're not 100% sure if it's going to be flush pocket, high pocket, through the nose. We've even seen some crossovers on players releasing what they thought were good shots.
It's made adjustments very difficult throughout the week. Players making big adjustments that they think would normally work on a different lane surface, not necessarily working on this wood. Obviously, we've stated the problems that a conditioned surface like this has in the front part of the lanes, mixed with the 45-foot pattern, has created havoc for adjustments for players even from pair to pair, as they can be very different.
No need to worry about pair to pair in this stepladder final. All matches taking place here in 19 and 20. And Anthony Simonsen showing some of the form that let him take home the Xtra Frame Wilmington Open title for his 3rd career title. In 2017, when he defeated Ryan Page 224 to 177.
Well, he likes hard conditions. He can win on hard conditions, and this is the first time we're seeing the dragon pattern, and the scoring was definitely lower than initially anticipated, but it is certainly not an issue for him right now.
And we can see here strikes from when he won in Wilmington. That was the first run, the first event of the 2017 Xtra Frame Touring Cup Tour, and he throws strikes everywhere in the world, it seems like nowadays.
Well, you can see here, he gets to the pocket real cleanly. He's able to actually kick out this 10-pin this time, and he likes the results of that one.
Extends his lead out to 13. You don't want to say Kent needs to be in mandatory strike mode yet, but the way Simonsen's throwing the ball, it's almost a necessity. All 10.
That's an important shot for Marshall, getting back on the board with a strike to at least start to apply some pressure to Simonsen. That one was clean.
See, not a lot of surface on that bowling ball, trying to control this wood lane surface with the Dragon 45 on it. Of course, with a little polish on the ball, that will let the ball go a little farther down lane before gathering friction.
Well, it can be a double-edged sword at times, too. See if he makes the adjustment. And he kicks out the 10-pin, coming back with a double.
I don't think he was 100% happy with the release on that shot. Watch his reaction when he lets the ball go. It's hold off, hold off, hold off.
He thinks he might have gotten away with one there.
Simonsen leads by 3, can take it back out to 13. The strike here in the 8th frame. Looks good. Sounds better.
Sounds better indeed. Able to get the ball down the lane with such force, such revolutions. The advantage of that two-handed style, as you can see, he really sticks at the line with all his leg power to try to get through the ball and really get it down lane to the break point.
Basically, we're down to a 2-frame match, even though the lead is 13 pins for Simonsen. A non-strike here would let Marshall Kent step up and have a chance to shut out Simonsen before he could retake to the lane in the 10th frame.
Laying the foundation frame.
Wiggled. It wiggled when it tried to make the turn, and it took just enough off the ball.
Well,
Watch the ball at about 40 feet where it starts to hook and kind of stops.
Just kind of skids out on him, goes long, unable to get back to the pocket with force, leaving the 6-pin. Needs to convert this, but now Marshall Kent has an opportunity to take this match.
Now you're just a spectator for Simonsen after converting the spare. Marshall Kent with a chance to step up. and advance. Kent with 2 titles in 2017. Of course, the Oklahoma Open, the 2-day ESPN event in Shawnee, Oklahoma, and part of the Xtra Frame Storm Cup Tour in Lubbock, Texas, with a big flurry of strikes to lock up the championship there in Lubbock, as we see a couple of the strikes as we're back to live action.
Big shot. Oh my
Will it get
goodness.
there? Will it get there? No.
And what a bad break at the wrong time, leaving a solid 9-pin. He got out of it really good. You see he's solid at the line. He gets to the part of the lane he wants and just can't get the pin to fall.
Refocus on the spare, but now it's going to take a full ride in the 10th frame to put pressure on Simonsen.
Well, he's able to bowl a 235 if he goes the distance. 248 for max score for Anthony Simonsen.
But that would force the double from Simonsen if Kent can punch out. No, it would not force a double. It would force a strike and good count from Simonsen. But he does need at least the first one. Not going to happen.
Well, that left lane has been providing some problems for him. He looks like he kept on trying to make the adjustment, and there just gets through the heads too quick and goes through the face and leaves a 6-pin.
It's not 224 the maximum. Simonsen with 9 out would be at 216. So barring complete disaster from Simonsen, Simonsen should be moving on. Championship here for the DHC Japan Cup, 5 million yen, approximately $50,000. 5th position is going to be walking out with about $8,000 in the back packet. Big difference from top to bottom of this top 5. Nine counts enough for Simonsen if he gets it on the first ball. 8 or less can make it interesting. 8, he'd have to get at least 1. On line.
And he takes it home, throws an excellent shot when it matters. Looks like Anthony Simonsen will be moving on in our next match to face Shota Kawazoe, the hometown favorite. Made the show at the Japan Invitational the last 3 years now, and certainly he's the crowd favorite.
Simonsen doing the smart thing. We've seen that ball come out and play earlier in the event. Always good to have that second and third option to go to.
He's just trying to get a read on the lanes, trying to see how they're breaking down.
And there's the man going home in 5th place with 800,000 yen, about $8,000 US, and not a bad way to start your 2018 season, Marshall Kent, but it's not what he wanted to do when he first arrived here.
Marshall Kent bowled so great through match play, really grinding it out and fending off a lot of late chargers in the round, but it is not enough as he falls short to Anthony Simonsen. But he'll go home with at least a decent check today.
That's the end of match 1 of the Stepladder, 248-224. Simonsen takes the title. We're going to have Jesper Svensson in the booth for match number 2 of this event. Shota Kawazoe taking on Anthony Simonsen after Kawazoe receives his practice balls on this pair of lanes.
The number 3 seed, representing Japan, please welcome Shota Kawazoe.
レーン選択は順位上位の川添翔太選手に選択権がありますので、川添翔太選手の申し出により20番レーンを選択しました。それでは決勝2回戦のスタートです。
And after rocking out the open of the match, special guest in the booth, Jesper Svensson. Jesper, thanks for joining us for match number 2 with Anthony Simonsen and Shota Kawazoe.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys.
And you got to kind of like the look Simonsen has after match number 1.
Yeah, I mean, these wooden lanes are a little bit different to what we normally bowl on, so he seems to just try to play them as simple as possible, pretty much.
And you see that direct line to the pocket. He was using a gold ball to fill out the 10th frame just to see what his second look would be, because he received no practice between matches while Shota Kawazoe took to the lanes. And you've come across Shota quite a few times in international competition over the last few years.
Yeah, absolutely. Shota is a great bowler, and yeah, I guess the home crown favorite. And I know he made a show here a couple of years in a row now, so I think he really want to get away with a win.
And Kawazoe opening strike. And you don't want to say home field advantage because there's so many bowling centers in Japan, but definitely the feeding off the home crowd. I'm sure you get the same thing probably. You had this last year probably when bowling the Lucky Larson being at home.
Yeah, well, maybe Martin is the big star there, but no, it's cool. Shota is very good, and it's good to see him over on tour in the States as well.
Shota yet to win his first PBA title, but in the Japan Pro Bowlers Association this year, 3 tournaments make up their triple crown, and he won all 3. And so his next goal is winning this DHC PBA Japan Invitational. Pretty similar lines for both of these players.
Yeah, as I said, they're playing really direct. Both play with the kind of high speed, ball speed, to try to push the ball through that front part of the lane that feels like it dries up pretty quick, so you kind of need to force it through a little bit.
And Simonsen forces a double out of the right lane.
He looks really lined up and confident, and yeah, he bowled great the whole day and also yesterday afternoon, so seems like he knows what he's doing.
You know, one thing that was really rap on a lot of two-handed players like yourself and Anthony was they can't play the lanes straight. Well, you've proved obviously off the left side that's not an issue because you prefer a little bit of a straighter line, and we're seeing Simonsen here playing a very straight line as well. Kyle Troup, who's yet to come in the stepladder, also likes to play it very square to the lane.
Yeah, and you also saw Belmo did the same thing. You don't normally see him play them as straight as he did in today's match play. So, yeah, it's all different every time, and you need to be good enough to be able to do all the different things.
And with that strike, front 3 for Simonsen. Was it tougher for you to learn how to square up on some patterns, or have you always been pretty square to the lane player?
I've done a lot of different stuff actually this tournament. I've tried a little bit of everything, and I was on a good run for a bit, and these last games of match play didn't really make it a whole way, but yeah.
And
you see, it's not easy to beat those guys. It's
no,
striking every ball. When
they're tripping 4s like that, I was watching. We had you on Xtra Frame a couple times today, and there were some solid 9s that got in the way a couple times, and some 6s that were stubborn. If you can trip 4s out, like Shota just said there, it's as you said, they're going to be tough to beat.
Yeah, I mean, you need to have those good breaks to be able to make TV shows and obviously get PBA titles. You need to be a little bit lucky, and yeah, we'll see. They both have been off to a great start.
Ooh, a little short on the follow through there. Oh. Unbelievable. That was his downfall last year in the championship match against E.J. Tackett. And right there, I don't know if he was trying to control the roll a little bit more with that shorter follow through, but the total bad break on the solid 8-pin.
Yeah, it's heartbreaking. I know the feeling. It's you can't believe it really, and yeah, great shot. Just try to make the spare and move on.
And we saw some issues for Shota earlier in the day on left side spares, but no problem there on the 8-pin.
You can pretty much just throw a normal first ball, and the ball is going to make its own way down there. So that's absolutely a spare you're supposed to make 100 out of 100, in my opinion.
Would it be tougher for a player like Shota to control his nerves at home, knowing what's on the line with all of his countrymen that are watching? Do you think, or is it just another match on TV?
He just seems so calm today. I think he just used it as an advantage. Like, he makes him a little bit pumped up, I think. But he seems so calm and so confident here in Japan. So I just think he was stay with this process and see what happens. And Simonsen just keeps firing. And
yeah, unfortunately, he's in a catch-up position right now with Simonsen on the front four after that terrible breaky that Kawazoe had in the 4th frame.
Yeah, we'll see what Simonsen's going to do here. Him hitting the pocket really well so far. And for now, it seems like he's going to continue to do that.
Rolls up.
Oh.
Gets the base of the 6. Take the 10 down. That's not an easy thing to do. That's speed and revs right there. Your average league player isn't going to be able to throw that 6-pin back out of the flat gutter into the 10.
Well, it almost looked like he sent the 1-pin over to the head pin over to like an insurance.
Yeah.
If the 10-pin would have been there, the messenger might have caught it anyway.
Kawazoe down by 21. Scrambles it up nicely and gets them all to fall.
Yeah, none of them missed the pocket yet, so it's gonna be a close match.
When you're out here bowling Stepladder finals, and we saw you in a couple of them, obviously at the World Series of Bowling with a title under your belt, do you take a different outlook on a Stepladder match play match than, let's say, do you bowl your opponent or are you bowling the lane?
You're bowling the lane, 100%. You can't affect what your opponent is doing. I mean, all you can do is your frames, your shots, and as I said, one game is against the best bowlers in the world. It's so tough to. I mean, if you're gonna start to worry about what he or she's doing, you're in trouble. You need to really focus on your own game to be able to win.
And Simonsen taking one of his 2 allowable re-racks in competition. And we've noticed that rack on lane 20. We heard a couple of players earlier today weren't happy with the way it was set sometimes, so may as well take advantage of the re-rack rule.
Yeah, 100%. Might be he was not 100% happy with the rack, or he feel that Shota is having a really good look too, that he wants some extra time and regroup. Maybe his mind flew away a little bit, that he just want to keep his concentration together and make sure he keep throwing good shots. That's what he's going to need. Fantastic shot.
Keeping it going, front half. And there is, I believe, a 500,000 yen perfect game award if it were to happen. I saw a check sitting around somewhere, one of the big checks you can never take to the bank to cash for a perfect game. But Simonsen still has a lot of work to do to get there, and he still has a lot of work to do to win this match as well.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's not thinking that much about a perfect game now.
Yeah.
He just want to win this match, and if he's going to bowl a perfect game, that's just bonus.
And sometimes when you have a player like Kawazoe that close to you, helps you keep the focus away about the perfect game and the wrap 10.
Yep. Great shot again. Just
yeah, just
6-pin just goes so quick around the 10-pin that you can't really believe it's not hitting it. But yeah, like Shota had as well, a really bad break, and the match is even again.
and the cover by Simonsen. And this match basically back to even.
Yeah.
Strike by Kawazoe, and it will be even. Now, with the two-handed players, and we see it a lot with Simonsen, where he tries to increases ball speed. You really have to walk faster to the foul line. Do you do something to help keep your lower body in shape, or make sure that the knees are good or anything when you work out, or is it just simply you adjust for wear and tear on your body by doing weights or walking or anything different?
For me personally, I mean, I'm so tall. I have a little bit like different body type to the other two-handers on tour at least. I'm a little bit taller than that, but work with the parts of your body that really need to get worked on, and obviously, as you say, legs and like your mid part of your body, like you really need to make sure you can handle a long tournament format and all that. But yeah, the key for most two-handers is to create their speed with the legs, so that's a key for sure.
Shota needs it to come up, and it does.
Yeah, put some pressure on Simonsen now. Shota's been going fantastic as well, whole tournament, and really impressive. Pretty simple technique, but really powerful, and yeah, one of those guys that seems to get lots of rev rates and a lot of speed with kind of little effort, and that's impressive to see. And
a little bit of a different environment here for these players during this championship final, because you can see all the press down the right side, all the fans down the left. You don't get that very often in tournament bowling anymore.
No, it's a little different, but I think both the players are so into the game now and into the process, and I think they don't even recognize all the people down the lane. They just want to make good shots all the time, and obviously both of them have a really good mindset going into this game. They're bowling great, both of them. So.
And now it's a two-frame game. The first 8 frames, really what you've done so far to this point doesn't matter. You need to perform in 2 frames to try to advance to our semifinal match against Kyle Troup.
Yeah. Big shot, 9 frames. Fantastic.
I believe our Japanese counterparts just said big stuff right there. That definitely was.
Yeah, fantastic. Definitely under pressure there, and yeah, to perform such a good shot in that moment is definitely a key to win. And to be able to win, you need to do good shots when you have to. And those one-game matches, it's almost always coming down to the last couple of frames. And let's see what Shota's answer is going to be.
Oh, 6 doesn't do the job on the 10. You see it's still laying there in defiance of Shota Kawazoe. Just trying to watch where that ball maybe missed turning early, or a little carry. Who knows?
Didn't really shape up as much as his other shot had done. Seemed a little slower, but I mean, it's not a bad shot, not at all. He might just miss it a little bit at the bottom of the swing or something like that. And in such a high-scoring match, so small margins that makes it.
And now,
still have a chance, though.
Yeah, but it's going to take putting a lot of pressure on, and he's going to take a re-rack as well. Gather his thought, and it's got to be tough, taking that bad break and knowing that may have cost you the match, even if you punch all 3 in the 10th.
Yeah, this is a situation where me as a bowler, maybe I just take a re-rack without even looking at the rack there is. I just want to get some time to regroup and not like get frustrated because I left a 10-pin or 7-pin. To just get some extra time to make sure he can deliver a couple of good shots here, because that's what he needs to have a chance in this match.
258, still the maximum. All 10 back in the pit.
Very good shot.
And that's maybe what, a half an inch different at the pocket than his last shot was to get that 10 pin out?
Yeah.
It's not a lot.
It can be so many different things that made that ball strike and not leave another 10 pin. But yeah, fantastic shot under pressure, and another strike here definitely put some pressure back on Simonsen.
I've often wondered why bowlers just don't have a psychologist at the ready or a psychiatrist at the ready after stepladder matches like this. Second ball of the 10th. Second strike of the 10th.
Really good shot again. Fantastic.
So obviously possibility of a tie still exists.
And now it's actually really, really important for him to get all 10 again. To force Simonsen to 9 spare strike to tie. Or, yeah, get the first one to win, obviously. But if he doesn't strike, he needs 9 spare strike for a tie. If Shota can make another strike here. So this shot is actually more important.
Yeah, last thing you want to do is you want to give your opponent an opening where it's just a single pin spare. Gets him a win. Oh, missed it. 257. That allows 9 spare strike for the win. And 9 spare 9 for a tie. Actually, 8 spare strike 2 for a tie. 7 or less on this first ball, though, and Anthony Simonsen would end up in 4th place. And it may not have been the game of Shota's life right there, but it's pretty darn close.
I mean, that could easily have been a 300 pretty much. Perfect game. And the same for Simonsen. He could easily have started with a 9-bagger. So, yeah, really close. And, yeah, we'll see if he can step up here and at least 9 spare.
He had to throw the first strike in our opening match to take out Marshall Kent. See if he can do it again here. And he does.
Impressive. Yeah.
He's on a roll. He's won in Korea in December. He won in Ireland earlier this month. And he's trying to add his 3rd country in about 7 weeks.
Yeah, that's
if he can win here today.
A cool story. Yeah, I mean, obviously has been bowling great. Made TV show. Win the first match. Yeah, struck out in the first 2 matches to advance. That's impressive.
And that's got to be scary if you're coming up, if you're either Kyle Troup or Dom Barrett, when you see him switch balls on the fill shot again, the 2nd game in a row, and just pirouette pins off the pin deck.
Yeah, I mean that really proved some confidence for Anthony, and it's if he doesn't get any practice shots in between the games, it's really important for him to know that if it's going to be a match where the lanes, like both players get into some transition, he really needs to have a plan B, and yeah, that's when you can get your plan B to strike and send those kind of messengers. It's a good confidence boost.
Yes, indeed. So Anthony Simonsen moves on to our semifinal match of the stepladder against Kyle Troup. Jesper, you want to stick around for another game, or are you going to watch your doubles partner a little closer up by the lanes?
I can sit here with you guys if you want me to.
Yeah, we'll absolutely have you for that semifinal match. It'd be good to get some insight as you've seen your doubles partner bowl often. So it's going to be Anthony Simonsen, Kyle Troup after some practice shots.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's my honor to introduce the number 2 seed representing USA. Give it up for Kyle Troup.
レーン選択は順位上位のカイル・トループ選手に選択権がありますので、カイル・トループ選手の申し出により20番レーンを選択しました。それでは準決勝のスタートです。
And we are ready for our semifinal match, and I'm Phil Bradlow, Jesper Svensson, PBA Tour champion, in the booth as well. And Jesper, we had a couple of players come up to us during the break, and they said this is the match they were waiting for tonight. They thought it was going to happen, and now it's here. Simonsen, Troup.
Yeah, both of them been looking really sharp. And Simonsen got 2 matches under his belt already, and yeah, he's been bowling really well and seems to keep doing what he's been doing the first 2 matches.
Absolutely, and we all know that Troup and Simonsen, good friends off the lanes, but I guarantee you right now it's no love lost.
No, this is game on for both of them, 100%. we'll see if Kyle is doing what he said to me during the Marshall Holman and Markov doubles, that he was going to throw the first one a little fast. Oh, obviously did the other way now.
And
I remember he warned me before his first shot on that TV show that this one might be a little fast. And it was, so he didn't lie. But
oh, he got the rattle up the gutter, but not back on the lane surface. And the early open frame for Troup.
yeah, there's where it sometimes is an advantage, like for Simonsen to already have been bowling a couple of games on the pair and all that, to just keep his momentum going, and Kyle need to really find the momentum early and try to get in this game.
Yeah, we saw that last year. E.J. Tackett ran the ladder to take home the title at Bentencho Grand Bowl in Osaka. Much better off the hand.
Yeah, very good shot, very good.
And you just watch that ball roll up, and nobody's really using that hockey stick look, that long and hard that a lot of league players like to see their bowling ball do out on the lanes. This is point A to point B with as compact as hook as possible, it seems like.
Yeah, the lanes are really tight down lanes, so you really just need to avoid the early friction that comes out of these wood lanes. And then, yeah, you see both of them play very, very direct lines to the pocket, and it seems to work out really good for both players the whole tournament.
And maybe we're seeing on the right lane where all of a sudden a little bit of the oil starting to deplete and both bowlers surprised by high shots.
Yeah, Simonsen didn't look very happy with that shot off the hand, so maybe he missed it a little bit left. Still got away with a just high 4-pin, and I think he's not too worried about it. If he missed the shot a little bit and still just get away with a high pocket hit 4-pin, it's still okay. So
now we saw. Oh, go ahead.
yeah, I think it's just still gonna stick with his process and don't worry about that shot too much, and just don't need to really move out of that. Just try to throw it a little better and get back to the striking again.
Yeah, still sticking with the ball that got him here. Saw him use that gold ball a couple times on fill shots, but when you're now he's got a 9.
Horrible break. Very good shot. Seemed to like that one a little more than the last one, and yeah, that's so close to strike. Also, the pin coming back up on the deck is really close to knock it out.
Polyester, always the ball of choice for spares out here in the PBA Tour for 99% of the players.
Yeah, it feels the most safe way to do it, as long as you're not like really good to control your hand position. Like 100% of the times you may shoot a spare. Spare balls are making for a reason, the polyester balls, so you better use them.
Let's see what adjustment Troup makes here. The third frame. Did he move left on that shot from his first shot, or was it just a better thrown shot?
I think he threw it better. Absolutely. I mean, the first shot on the television, it's a little hard to like get it 100% right.
Sure.
The first shot, even though he looked very sharp during his practice shots here before the show, but first shot is always tough. So I just think he did the same thing, but unfortunately he got 9-pin just like Simonsen did.
So right now, Troup finds himself down by 10 pins, thanks to that first frame open. Kind of digging the halo effect that Kyle has right now with the lighting behind him in the afro. It's holy Kyle.
Yeah. Such a great guy to have on tour. His hairstyle, clothing, and all that.
Much better shot.
Very good shot again.
You think Kyle right now is happy he's going to be finishing the 10th frame on that left lane?
100%. Maybe that's something he saw during his practice, and I don't know, but maybe he felt a little bit more comfortable on that left lane and wanted to finish on that lane. But yeah, I think to win this match, you need to figure out that right lane.
Simonsen 4-pin high. Back in the second. Watch those pins dance. Great shot for a strike.
Good shot. Hit a little light this time. Maybe he moved one board or so just to trick his head maybe a little bit. I know I do that sometimes if I hit a little high and I want to kind of not put too much pressure on myself that I did a bad shot or whatever. I just try to maybe move one to trick my head a little bit. I don't know if he's doing the same thing or no, but that was a good shot.
And another horrible break. We saw the 7-10 bite Marshall Kent in the opening match, and now another one for Simonsen. That is just the ultimate momentum changer on the PBA Tour. That head pin was up into the rack and just spun around and missed the 7 entirely.
Yeah, it's just when you go that hard and that direct to the pocket, it's not really those like 7-10s where the pins fly around everywhere.
No.
It just seems a little weird.
Yeah, that had
to what we normally see 7-10s. I mean, they always look weird because it's not supposed to happen, but
that
yeah,
had like 3 or 4 pins around the 7-pin. That was, as you
yeah,
said,
it just
unusual.
looked like all the pins just kind of lay down to the left, but yeah, it didn't go, and that's very unlucky. Let's see if Kyle can take advantage of it. Yeah.
That's always the mark of a guy that can be a champion. Take advantage of your opponent's mistakes. And Kyle Troup having a couple of PBA Tour titles, including the doubles with you last year in Portland.
Yeah, that was a really good experience. People thought going into that tournament that it was a little bit strange that him and I were teaming up together, but yeah, we really had a good time there in Portland, and yeah, both bowling together, we had a really good time together, and also with the crowd there in Portland is just amazing, and can't wait to go back there later this year for the PBA League. It's going to be fantastic.
Troup looking for first double in the match. There it is. Pardon me,
Really
3-bagger.
Really good shot again. And once again he struck on that left lane, so maybe the key for him is that he get that strike on the right lane to get that 3-bagger.
12 pins the lead for Troup. Took full advantage of the momentum switch after Simonsen's 7-10. And almost that similar look, except he had more pins going back to the right to take the 10 out.
Yeah. Maybe he's a little bit confused now. I wouldn't be surprised if we're gonna see the ball change to that Marble Max Gold from Simonsen in the next couple of frames.
It seemed for the players, as you mentioned, get confused. It wasn't that hard to get confused because as rarely as you bowlers are on this wood surface.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like Anthony here is missing the head pin or go through the nose. It's just he keeps hitting the pocket, but it's not really 100% right. And in a one-game match, you really need to make sure that you're going to be lined up 100% right. So, looks like he was not changing more in this frame, I think.
Oh, unbelievable how much that turned up early.
Trouble. Yeah.
Take a look at the replay here. That ball checked at about 42 feet.
Yeah, you see the ball is hooking way too early, and he knows that. Doesn't seem like he's think it's that bad off the hand. It just picks up really early on him, and there have been some traffic on the right side of the lane now, so it might start to get some transition off.
And always, when you have to deal with that sleeper 9 pin, it's always tough to get all 4 of those pins down.
Yeah, that's not an easy spare to make, especially not on this lane conditions with like a long oil pattern. As I said before, the ball really want to pick up quite early, and it's pretty tight down lane, and you need some angle down there to knock out that 9 pin. That's not an easy spare to make in these conditions.
Troup taking a little extra time with a re-rack, and he knows right now if he steps up and punches here in the 7th and 8th, gets a 5-egger on the board, it's almost guaranteeing a spot in the finals against Dom Barrett.
Yeah, he looked really focused now and confident, but you can't. You just can't get too relaxed. You know, he's a guy that always is pumped up pretty much when he's on the lanes, and as an opponent to these two guys, you know that when they get it going, they can strike forever. So.
And Kyle did that earlier this year in 2018. He took home the top spot in the men's U.S. team trials, 5 different lane patterns. You look at the finish he came off with at the World Championships on 4 different lane patterns, finishing in 5th place. You were in 2nd place on those 4 different lane patterns. How does, when you get that success on that many lane patterns, it's got to boost your confidence.
100%. I mean, of course, when your confidence get a boost, it's easier to throw it good, and it's all just like a very good circle. Like
you didn't see what happened there with the 4 stands.
Yeah.
Let's take a look on the replay.
I think he got away with that one a little bit. Might have gone through the nose completely. Oh, no, all right. Yeah, kind of got away with that one, but yeah, he looked a little worried, but didn't come out that bad. And Spare's not too bad in the situation now of the match. Just make sure he makes a spare. Yeah, no problem.
.238 the maximum for Troup. The 2.0 maximum for. Yeah, that is a 202 maximum for
202, yeah.
Simonsen. Troup well in control. And we saw Dom Barrett before Troup took his first shot in the 8th frame. Dom Barrett peeking over to see where these gentlemen were playing.
Yeah, I mean, you really need to be very, very sharp with that kind of things. You can't let go of anything that you can take advantage of. You really need to make sure you do that to get yourself in a better spot. And Dominic knows that, just like Kyle, going into this match, that you need to get some momentum going early to be able to get away with a win.
Never say die for Simonsen, but needs this one in the 9th. Kicks the 10 out, but now it's waiting for your opponent to make a mistake, and the way Kyle Troup is throwing it right now, I don't see one happening anytime soon.
No.
I mean, right now, even with
It's
Kyle
pretty
going,
much that
yeah,
Kyle you just need to mark 1 of the 2 frames remaining, if I'm not miscounting completely.
Nope, you are correct.
So, yeah, from the look Kyle have had so far in the game, it doesn't look like he's going to miss the pocket completely.
Oh, that was interesting. I think the 3 pin hit off the 6 into the 9 and then into the 10.
It looked a little weird.
Yeah, because that 6 pin just fell over.
Yeah. But yeah, as I said, I mean, Kyle knew that he just needed to hit the pocket and make 1 of the spares, and that's a situation that you should be able to handle in his situation and at his level. So that's a pretty nice situation going into the last 2 frames with And yeah, he did a good shot. Hit the pocket again. Oh,
5 trickles into the 4. And there is our advancer into the championship match against Dom Barrett. And let's see, now he's going to stick with the same ball.
changing ball now.
Oh, he did? Okay, okay, I see it now.
He's trying out the new Sonic now. Yeah.
Always
That
good to have that read, right?
That might be kind of what he expected to happen. He knows that ball is a little cleaner through the fronts and maybe a little bit early to go to that ball because it would leave the ringing 10, but he knows that that's the next step of his arsenal. And yeah, like we have seen Simonsen done in the first 2 matches, to try that goal ball, you need to have a plan B.
And unfortunately for Simonsen, even with that hot start, that momentum changer in the 5th frame, with the pocket 7-10, pretty much wrote match over.
Yeah, well, still a very good tournament for Simonsen, and yeah, to get himself a number 3 with DHC, it's a very good achievement and a good start for the PBA season.
Absolutely, and Kyle Troup, Dom Barrett, our championship match for the 2018 DHC Japan Invitational. Practice for Dom coming up, and then our championship match.
Ladies and gentlemen, in our championship match, it's my pleasure to introduce the #1 seed from Colchester, England, the Dominator, Dom Barrett.
レーン選択はトップシードのドム・バレット選手に選択権がありますので、ドム・バレット選手の申し出により19番レーンを選択しました。それでは DHC カップ PBA インビテーショナル2018優勝決定戦のスタートです。
Championship match, you see the championship trophy in the background. Dom Barrett taking on Kyle Troup. Dom Barrett had lane choice and decided he was going to finish on the right lane after Troup concludes his game. And how often when you have lane choice in a stepladder match, Jesper, do you decide whether it's the lane you want to finish on or the opponent you want to make finish after you?
That's very, very different from time to time. Obviously, Dominic felt way more confident now on the right lane and choose to finish last as long as he can finish on the right lane. So, yeah, but that was a very good shot on the left lane. So,
yeah, Barrett, after qualifying yesterday, was in a tie, or pardon me, was in 6th position. Worked his way up through the field very early and led after the morning qualifying squad. And
yeah, he had a very good first set of the match play. Good record through the whole match play.
And the lane that was a little bit of Troup's bugaboo in his semifinal match against Simonsen seems to be overcome with that powerful strike.
Yeah, very good shot to start off with here. And, I think this match can be really close, and the 2 guys that were battling for the #1 seed, so makes sense that both of them are here. They both really deserve to be in a title match, and I think it's going to be a very tight and good match.
And even though the scores were kind of a medium to low scoring pace all week long, I don't think a 220 is going to walk off with the title here.
Well, that might be a good guess. But I think you're right. Seems like the transition that Simonsen ran into a little bit in the last match both the players seems to have it under control. We haven't seen Dom on the right lane yet, but I think both of them is a little bit ahead of the transition, so I think both of them feel pretty comfortable.
And we got to look at Dom's bowling ball there, and it looked like he had maybe. No, I guess he didn't take that much shine off the surface of that bowling ball. Pushes nicely.
Oh, no.
Oh.
That's a 10 pin out.
Take a look at the replay. And I think I've said it earlier, and I'm going to say it again. I think Dom is one of the most underrated players in the world about what he can do with adjusting the shot in various ways through hand position, loft distance, and he can really use that to his advantage here in this championship match.
100%. He's so talented with all the different tools that you can use besides switching balls back and forth. But as you say, what you can do with your hand position and all that stuff, he's really, really good at. And I think has been a key for him throughout his career to get him that much success as he have had.
5 titles for Barrett. Last time in the winner's circle was in 2017 in Germany at the Brunswick Euro Challenge. Took out Thailand's Jojo Yanafan 237-221 in the title match. 3 of Barrett's 5 PBA titles, 1 in World Bowling Tour PBA events overseas. And looking to add to the overseas total with this PBA Tour title on the line as well.
Very good shot there from Dominic. Yeah, he seemed to look like that one off the hand and 10 straight back. Very good shot.
When you're that extra feel of confidence you have to get when you're splitting the 8 and 9 on a strike shot like Dom did right there, you know you're in the right spot of the lane.
100%. That definitely. Yeah, that's his second strike on that left lane too. So if that left lane was the problem for him during his practice shots, then Kyle might be in trouble. Oops.
Can't get the 2 to roll out.
Seemed like he knew that one was a little further right than the last one. Or if he forced it through the fronts a little bit too much. Didn't seem too upset with leaving that 2 pin.
Spot on that 2. Lead for Troup, 9 pins. And you see this expansive crowd here at Tokyo Port Bowl after 1-year absence in Osaka in 2017. The return to Tokyo Port Bowl, supported by the fans here.
That's always a good thing coming to Japan. Crowd is cheering you on no matter where you're from. If you're from Sweden, USA, Japan, they just like everybody here. And that's much appreciated from us bowlers. Really love to come here to Japan.
Troup back striking in the 4th frame.
Yeah, feels like a kind of expected start to this match. Both the players looks lined up. Yeah, see if Dominic can get a strike on that right lane.
See Troup trying to get composed there between shots.
All I
It's
can see
not
is
the easy
throw.
thing to do, yeah. It's not. It can't be easy to stay composed in a match like this for a championship. I mean, what do you do psychologically to keep yourself in the moment?
You just try to focus on the next shot. I mean, you always feel like the title matches are going so quick. So you really need to focus on the next frame, next shot all the time.
Good shot there by Barrett. He's kind of going around Troup's track area and where Simonsen was playing. He's starting a little left, and it seems to be a little farther right down lane.
Yeah, Dominic is not that that much of a high-speed player as the other guys. earlier on the TV show. So he might. Seems like he needs to take like making the ball shape up a little bit more than the rest of the guys. They can more stay a little bit further right and force it through the front switch speed. But I'm pretty sure Dominic is doing a lot of work with his hand and his hand position at his release to make sure he's going to get the ball to not read the fronts too much.
Dom taking a little extra time to compose himself after the re-rack. You can see how well left on the approach Dom is from many of the other players right there, almost sliding into the left gutter. All 10 down again.
Very good shot, very good shot.
And 3 in a row for Barrett, regains the lead. Pure back once again, splits that 8 and 9. Troup up, looking to try to keep his deficit down to a single pin. Oh, get the break.
Wow.
Not too often you can crumble out a 2-5-8. And Troup almost does it on that shot.
Yeah, at the end of the day, I think he's feels pretty okay with just getting that 2-pin, because the 2-5-8 is not that easy to make.
Yeah, that ball got to the breakpoint area he had in the past and just kind of the ball got a little lazy, it looked like.
Yeah, I don't know if that must be something with that right lane because of Dominic as the top seed, like choose to finish last, still on that right lane though, but maybe he sees something that he likes that the other players doesn't fancy that much.
Obviously, and with you saying you saying how Dom likes to shape his shot a bit more, it might make a little sense for Dom at this time, because he's using maybe that little bit of tightness that Kyle found on that shot.
Yeah, because normally the higher seed wants the opponent to finish last to be able to put some pressure on your opponent, but Dominic chose the other way. Yeah, that looked like trouble all the way. I think he simply missed that one left, what it looked like.
Yeah, and didn't look like he read any earlier than the previous shots on that lane.
So I just think he missed that one left a little bit, and those open frames are really expensive, and that losing some count on that 7 count after spare also.
And with the wheels spinning now, you mentioned how tough it was to figure out what move you make next after a shot you thought may have been good.
Yeah, you can
and
see
that's going to be
there,
tough.
I think he knows that was a mistake that might have cost him a chance in this match. Obviously, he still have a chance, but I don't think Dominic is going to make any major mistakes, especially now if he feels he gets some breathing space here.
Working on 3 in a row. 6th frame. No doubt there. Absolutely no doubt that shot was going to strike.
This looks so smooth when it's in the zone. He really looks like he knows what he's doing now.
And as you mentioned, shaping the ball in his comfort zone. That has to help as well.
He's really been working hard with different type of ball motions from what I've seen this weekend or this week, that working with lots of different balls and different parts of the lane and all that. He really really avoided those really bad games, I think, and that's the key to be able to finish high in this tournament.
And you mentioned working every part of the lane. When you bowlers are moving from pair to pair here at Tokyo Port Bowl, there weren't too many boards that were left untouched all week long with trying to find the shot from pair to pair.
Yeah. And also on these wood lanes, the pairs played a little bit different because of the old surface. And to really be able to work that out as quick as possible is a big key. Good shot there by Kyle, and much needed. Dominic seemed to really be lined up now on both lanes, and pretty sure Kyle needs to strike out more or less here to have a chance.
Yeah, when 235 is your maximum for Kyle Troup, and your opponent can throw a couple of spares in there and still be ahead of you, it's mandatory strike mode the rest of the way out for Kyle Troup.
Yeah.
Troup
That's
taking a
true.
re-rack.
Definitely going to need a strikeout pretty much to even put the pressure on Dominic to force him to make spares.
And this move he might make on the lane after that last throw, it may not necessarily be moving the feet to the left. It might be just picking up the ball speed. Looks a little firmer. That looked a little firmer.
Very good shot. Feels like that's the way most of the players have been working throughout the tournament, to not move the feet too much. At least the power players, like with the can throw it harder.
Sure.
Try to just stay on the same spot and throw it harder. If the ball reaches the front a little bit too much, just try to throw it harder. And as I mentioned before, try to force it through the fronts a little bit, and to be able to stay really straight and direct to the pocket.
Barrett's last title prior to 2017 at the Brunswick Euro Challenge was in Qatar in 2014. And looking to keep the drought between wins very short, less than a year, if he takes home the title here at Tokyo Port Bowl.
This is a big shot.
There is not much difference between every ball going through the pin deck for every strike Dom's had this game. You just watch split the 8 and the 9, split the 8 and the 9.
Yeah, 2 spares is a lock,
Yeah.
I believe. And
Strikes a lot because that would
he
put him in the
can-
250s.
yeah, one more strike is definitely a lock, but if he spares twice, yeah, he's going to be, as long as he doesn't lose too much count, 2 spares is enough. If I'm not miscounting.
1 spare for sure, and really get and like a 9 spare 9 would be
Yeah,
enough
he's
because
gonna be in
Troup
the
lost that
2
count on the big split.
Yeah, so Dominic's going to be in the 230s if he goes spare, so 2 9 spares.
And
For
Kyle's
example,
maximum's 235.
Yeah, strike here is a lot.
There it is.
Very, very impressive.
4 different winners, 4 years in the DHC Japan Invitational.
Very impressive from Dominic there. To be able to come in as the #1 seed after those high rev rate players and the lanes. I'm pretty sure Dominic might have been a little scared of what have happened with the transition, you know, after those power players with lots of rev rate.
Especially if he's
don't
got
really know.
they're blowing the pattern open down lane. Dom, as we saw, he's crossing where Troup and Simonsen and Kent would have blown a hole in that pattern.
Yeah.
Sometimes you start getting early friction, and it can really mess with you.
Yeah, Dominic really chose to go a little bit further left and try to shape it, and that was yeah, that's sharp from Dominic, and to execute those shots as well as he has been doing, that's really impressive. And yeah, also feel sorry for Kyle. He has been doing great, and as you say, he's been on to very good last couple of months, and
got to give you a little confidence
Yeah,
going,
I mean,
into,
100%.
going to Rothwell
Finish
Medallas
second
in a
this
few
event
weeks.
it's not bad at all. I just know how bad he wants to get those wins, and he also
As you
knows
all do.
how tough it is to win out here on tour. But I think when he gets home, gets some distance to this tournament, he's going to be very happy with his performance.
And 4-pin high. But taking home the big prize, 5 million yen, $50,000 approximately. Didn't check my exchange rate today before we started. Of course, the markets will be closed on a Sunday. But a great payday. Kyle Troup, though, taking home 2,500,000 yen. And Dom Barrett is going to be your champion. Jesper, thanks for sitting in with us again during the Stepladder finals. And we will have the trophy presentation to Dom Barrett along with the winner's check very shortly. There he is, your champion of 2018 DHC Japan Invitational, Dom Barrett.
Ladies and gentlemen, Dom Barrett defeats Kyle Troup in the championship match. 267 to 204. I give you your 2018 DHC PBA Japan Invitational Championship, Dom Barrett.
267回204で優勝はドム・バレット選手です。大きな拍手をお送りください。そして惜しくも敗退したカイル・トループ選手にも今一度大きな拍手をお送りください。